Muri yeZimbabwe kusangana kwatiri kuita zvakarepo pano pazimunyuzi update apo patinode kupe first hand update anonga ari kuitika muno munyika yeZimbabwe sekunzwa kwatiri kuita according to Rutendo Matinyarare. Kuna vasikaziva Rutendo Matinyarare ana Rutendo Matinyarare matop shata emubato reZanu PF. So tiri kuona panapa pakanyorwa kunzi Charamba sends anonymous warning without saying a word. Sezvo tinoziva mhuri yeZimbabwe ndokulistirai pari zvino. Tona ana Obed Mpofu Team Chiwenga. Obed Mpofu uya yokureplacewa naJacob Mudhenda yokuramba utoti kudata guri anga co-opted kupinda muCentral Committee akabviswa nawa Mnangagwa akareplacewa nawa Jacob Mudhenda then kudata guri akazo-co-opted kupinda muCentral Committee. That one is Team Chiwenga. Tobva tati Charamba is Team Chiwenga. Tobva tati Sanyatwe is Team Chiwenga. Nerimwe timu rakawandisisa is Team Chiwenga eri mukati mebato reZanu PF muri yeZimbabwe. So tiri kuona panapa vakaposta nhaurwa yakataurwa na Wamalema vachitoti zvinhu zvemuri kuita zvekuti kwanzi munodhilana vanhu vasina kuvhotewa ndo zvinhu zvakadzingisa Zuma. Hani muri kuona sort of like zviri kuitwa naMnangagwa kunoku zvekutoti vari kudhila nevanhu vasitombori mapolitician chichi mabusinessmen woma thugs vada kutobawo ndo zvinhu zvida kutodzingisa president Emerson Mnangagwa izvozvo ndo zvinhu zvida kudzingisa Cyril Ramaphosa kunyika yeSouth Africa muri yeZimbabwe. So zvinhu zvinomira zvakanaka regedze timbonzwe Wamalema first then zvakaiswa na George Charamba izvozvi tirakunzwa kuti zvakamira sei but tingatange kuverenga then tozozwa Wamalema toona kuti zvinenge zvakamira sei. So tikuona panapa pakanyorwa kunzi on Friday George Charamba posted a video of Julius Malema warning President Ramaphosa that he must listen more to those who criticize him and not those who tell him that he is right when he is wrong. Tikuona panapa muri yeZimbabwe kunzi Cyril Ramaphosa ngavateerere vanhu vanovaudza chokwadi because zvezvo kungonzi uri right uri wrong zvakafanana tikuona mubato reZanu PF waMnangagwa vari wrong pazvinhu zvizhinji but kuna vanhu vanovati wari right wari wrong vanonga vari kuti wanyudzisa vanhu ivavo beto totora mudhara zvinhu zvemuri kuita pakapa hazvisiri zvotikadai tadai nekudai zvangova kuyana Mugabe vainzi vari right wari wrong hani mazona zvakasvika pakuzovanyudzisa hani mazona because panapa unonyasa urielezo ega kuti panapa zvinhu zvakandonumira. So tikuona panapa pakanyorwa kunzi Malema also went on to warn the president not to ignore Chapter 9 institution. In Zimbabwe, we'll call them Chapter 12 institution. And Zimbabwe, and that he must not work with unelected catalysts. Those are the kushanda nevanhu vari unelected sort of like anachivayo anakudata grey anatungwarara just oninde zvakangoitwa naShabangu zvezvo zvekuti anongonhonga vanhu mustreet wongoya ngoti iwe munhu akavhoterwa nevanhu obviswa wongonhonga munhu wongoisa paunoda chimwe chiro chiratidzo chinoratidza kuti zvinhu zvamira zvakanaka. Zuma worked with unelected Guptas. Zuma tikuona kuti ndo zvakakwanisa kuti Zuma Guptas because then he might not finish his term. The message is not different to the allegory of Hezekiah. I wonder what Mabiza will do. Tikuona panapa message yenotombosiyana neHezekiah kuti wana vice president Constantino Chiwenga. So tirakuti tinzwe panapa tinzwe kuti chichi kunyasa
someone who's going to be honest with you. The position you occupy needs someone who's going to be honest with you, because those who failed were told many a times that they are right even when they were wrong. Even when the Constitutional Court said to them, you are wrong. Even when the Public Protector said to them, you are wrong. Those around them kept on telling them they are right. And that's why they got it wrong. You must never ever listen to those who say you are right against the courts of South Africa, against Chapter 9 institutions of South Africa. Those are the institutions which are meant to defend our democracy, and they will forever guide us. So,
institution number 12 muri yeZimbabwe kuna vasiri kuiziya tira kuti tinguudzwa kuna vanhu vasiri kuiziya institution number 12 mu constitution institution yearmy mhuri yezimbabwe ndo yakabudiswa navamnangagwa ndo inoshanda pakudhifenda kana mapolitician akuita zvinhu zvisiririro pasi rino rese. Army inonga irimo mukabineti kuti izodhifende sezvakaitwa muna 2017 kuti wamugabe wakanzi wakomberedzwa nematsotsi yakaenda kunodhifenda kusouth africa. Its inumber 9, its chapter 9 muno munyika yezimbabwe, its chapter 12. Now tongoti chapter 12 because ichabviswa zvayo pachagazetwa but hazvishandi because kuka nechinge yatanga anenge ari ma1 emhuri yezimbabwe.
President, there are people who served long in cabinet from Mandela's time. I have nothing against them. And I don't know why they don't make your work easy by coming to you and say we are not available, maybe as advisors, so that they give room to new ideas. Comrade President, Stellenbosch is a big problem. We know your proximity to Stellenbosch. We know your proximity to Oppenheimers. We have not elected Oppenheimers. We have not elected Stellenbosch yet. I told your predecessor in 2011 that we have not elected the Guptas. We elected him. And he must lead us. He refused to listen to that. We're warning you, President. We have not elected the Ruperts yet. We have not elected the Oppenheimers. Listen to the collective wisdom of people you are elected with, not white monopoly capital. It will not be.
Ani muruzwa mhuri yezimbabwe zvirongoitika munomu zvekutoti vanhu vakadhila navamnangagwa kubva vachiri kumaelection kuita sei havachaonekwi. Ana chivhayo ndo wapamberi zvafana kana kabineti chaichayo kana kuti maministers wati havana kana kumboonekwa pakavasiro Ramaphosa pakatongoya. Ndipo munonyasa kuona kuti zvinhu zvinomira zvakanaka kutoti no zvinhu izvi kaizvi hazvisi kunyasa kumeka sense kutoti zvichiri zveupurezidendi here kana kuti zvazvo zvemadhiri zvekutana naRamaphosa naMnangagwa.
Here to defend you. Once you listen to white monopoly capital, you must know that you are likely not to finish your term. All the best, President. We are here. We are watching you and will continue to engage you openly, not in secret. Thank you.
Mhuri yezimbabwe ndevamalema ava vari kutaura so regedzai timbonzwa vanhu mucomment section kuti vane muono upi then tozoenda kune nhauwa yevari so tiri kuona panapa mhuri yezimbabwe pakanywa kunzi how do South African political issues become Zimbabwean issues overnight. Malema was talking about SA not cable 3. Zvakangofanana nezviri kuitika because zviri kunzi muri kudhila nevanhu vari unelected. Ani mazvona vanhu vari unelected ndo vari kudhila navasiro Ramaphosa. Muno vaMnangagwa vari kudhila futi nevanhu vari unelected. So tine urombo vari kunzi tine urombo makadhila nevanhu vari unelected kuti munge muchipedza sezvetinova zviri kuitika muno. Hani muno munhu vari kunetsana chivhaya zodai chichi hani mazvona chimwe ndo zviri kuedza kuti vapanapa. Cape 3 is a sovereign Zimbabwean process and it will pass whether critics like it or not because it reflects what the majority of Zimbabwe want. Tiri kuona uyu hake muzanu PF ani mazvona isu hatina kwatakarerekera tinobudisa nyaya sezvairi ari kutaura kuti whether you like it or not Cape 3 iri kungobudirira mhuri yezimbabwe. Tiri kuona pana pakanyonzi ubundu akati kutaura kuti your government is handing over the land you claim to own black to white people and you are here writing nonsense. Stop being a coward and face your government. Mhuri yezimbabwe tiri kuona anenge South African ari kunyora izvi kutoti government sezvo tiri kuzoti maveterani vada kupiwa sort of like varungu vada kupiwa maprize avo vakatoriwa nemaveterani. Zvinhu izvozvo zvitori neurongwa zvakatopasiswa ipingi kwangosara chete kuti pari kupasa Cape 3 iri ndo pavanenge vane hwaro manje kutora kuti iwewe ningi mazita acho anonge atopo kudhara vanhu vadobviswa iwo maveterani vanonge vadobviswa maprize vanonge atopo kudhara. So vamwe vanhu vanga vabatira hana moko kuti chakatoipa. So tiri kuona panapa Rutendo, when do you intend to address these issues within your own country Zimbabwe? You interference in South Africa affairs is quiet. Tiri kuona pana mhuri yezimbabwe vanhu maSouth African vari kutaura zvavari kutaura. Tiri kuona panapa inhauwa iyi ndofunga muri kuona Zimbabwe will return dozen of foreign white farmers. Tiri kuona panapa izvi zvakatobudiswa changosara chetongoti bill ripasiswe then chingochaye. So takuti
ishu yanga iri xenophobia.
Right.
South Africans vachitaurawo zvavanofila about us being in South Africa, and suti chivapindurawo. Chakaitika ndechekuti there was this particular lady, I don't know if Masi still remembers here. Her name was MS. She kept on threatening us kuti hamusati maona zvatinoita, you will see. Once it starts like this, it will not end, and it will not end well. Those who knows what is good for them, please leave South Africa. Leave South Africa and leave now, while you can manage to carry one or two things away. And they were in Kahut's Papa Nwanzi, Dudu, and there were so many who were there on that platform. That threat yakatozopesata yakutozeta vaningasukuti were now exchanging blow for blow, because it was like she was teaching us on what happened in 2008 and how it started in Alex and spread all over South Africa. But to our surprise, Angle Jedi ndechekuti just a few days on that particular day, I think Cyril Ramaphosa was in Zimbabwe. And then I asked that, I was given the chance to speak, and then I asked that lady, you look, we are having our own issues. We are fighting our own battle. Cable 3, if it passed, is going to change the face of Zimbabwe, and it's going to change the face of South Africa as well, because you are our nearest neighbor. Your father, Ramaphosa, what is he doing in Zimbabwe?
Yes.
And are you seeing Uri, next to him is our own Kate Matlala. Kate Matlala is one very big thief in South Africa here. But we have also our own thief in Zimbabwe, Wiki Nochipayo. He was just, among those people welcoming, or he was on the forefront of welcoming Cyril Ramaphosa. What was the purpose of that visit? Is it toda kurwa hondo yedu? Tione kuti KB3 tapedza sei. The next thing, we are seeing South African president coming to Zimbabwe on the eve of the change of the constitution. What is he there to do that we as Zimbabweans are not supposed to know? And then let us go back in 2008. We people voted, removed ZANU-PF successfully. So what did we see? We see Levi Mwanawasa supporting the Zimbabwean community to say Mugabe should hand over power, should announce the results and leave the office. And what happens next? We see again another South African president, Thabo Mbeki, coming to Zimbabwe and proclaiming to the whole world that there was no crisis in Zimbabwe. There was a billboard just outside Messina as we are going to the border. It was drawn, Zimbabwe is burning. That is what was written. And Mbeki went there and they came back to say, no, there is no crisis in Zimbabwe. And what did we see? After a month, those elections finally were finished, the counting, and then the results were given to the people to say, you know what, there was no an outright winner. If there was no outright winner, what it took them so long, a month, to count those presidential elections as if it was for the first time? So we had a lot of bickering with the citizens of South Africa, and rightfully so. We wanted to know answers, because it appears as if whenever we are on the verge of fighting our own battle, South Africa will come with a nuclear bomb to destroy the opposition in Zimbabwe, because it's not happening for the first time. Now it's for the third time. Cyril Ramaphosa, if you remember, was another president who congratulated Mnangagwa before even the elections were finished counting in Zimbabwe in 2023. And we were surprised. What is actually happening? And so until to date, we don't have answers. And Mnangagwa followed suit by congratulating Daniel Chapo before even the elections were finished being counted in Mozambique. So are we saying, is this the pattern that we should be seeing in Southern Africa or what? Now, the purpose of the visit, like what Marcel said, we don't know it. And we are asking, what is the purpose of the visit? Cyril Ramaphosa in Zimbabwe. We are just hearing rumors to say, you know what, there's a high delegation which sent him to Zimbabwe as the chair of the SADC. Kuti aenda andoudza Mnangagwa what is about to do is not right. Why is it supposed to be kept a secret to the people of Zimbabwe? If it is not right, then we should just know, it should come clear to say, you know what, look, this thing is not right. Or, I mean, clothe it nicely so that we don't become suspicious. Clothe your visit nicely so. Why particularly the visit of the head of state is done on a pre-cave farm, a private farm of the President Mnangagwa, instead of where others are being hosted at the State House? Why were they running away from the State House? And why were the main players not involved in that visit? The likes of Kembo Mohadi, Vana Chiwenga. We are seeing some unknown faces in terms of politics. Like what Masi says, right now we don't know the position of Chivayo. Who is Chivayo? Who is Chivayo? The other time we had Axilia Mnangagwa going to Belarus with his twins to go and sign major deals. What is the position of Axilia Mnangagwa when it comes to signing of deals? Don't we have a minister of foreign affairs who can do that? So we are having problems with South Africa on a serious note. In as much as they are saying, you know what, people, you are suffocating us. Yes, indeed, we are suffocating them. The little that they should be having, we are also asking for that cake, simply because they are inviting us into their country. They are inviting us into their territory. Because if you allow your father to go to the next door and say, no, continue, don't feed them, don't buy meal, don't buy them clothes. The next thing will be asking your children for some clothes. Whenever you put your tea on the table, you see us next to you so that you can, we share that little tea that you will be having. That is the challenge that we are having in South Africa. We would very much want to go back to Zimbabwe. In fact, people were ready to move to Zimbabwe. I for one, was hurt when Mugabe could not just surrender on that day when he ended up saying Asante Sana. I was very hurt because on that day, I think the address was coined at 8. And at 8, Mugabe was nowhere to be seen. We waited until somewhere around 11. That is when Mugabe came. But the end result was Asante Sana, Tesetine Basa. And takarane boots on that day because we were looking forward kuti achangoti I think the people have spoken, let me resign, let me step down, and I said to what the people of Zimbabwe have spoken. But he said, Asante Sana, nebasa. But now we are realizing why Mugabe was adamant on not leaving. He knew what Mnangagwa, the type of person Mnangagwa was. He knew we were going to see more problems that we are seeing now, that we ended up regretting. We thought Mugabe was worse. He was just a better version. This version of Mnangagwa is just worse because he's there to line his pockets. And some people that we don't even know. The inclusion of Anakurata Gwirei, Ana Paul Tungwarara, Ana Wikino Chivayo into the politics or the main politics of Zimbabwe without them having positions, Jaguti suffocate. Thank you so much. I just hope one day Mnangagwa will give us answers to this.